Morning, everybody. I'm Stacey with Stacey's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. Is that a hair sticking up? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to be talking about consistency this morning, and we're going to be talking about, that's all, just consistency. And keeping it simple, because oftentimes we want to complicate some stuff. Like, I could stop this video right now, but it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if that's a hair or not. It is. I got new hair growing or something. Anyway, sorry. But that is consistency, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to record these videos, We're going to talk about the different areas of consistency this morning. So if you like that that's our topic today, please hit the like and subscribe button below. Speaking of consistency, if you constantly watch these videos on a weekly basis, I appreciate your love and support, and I return that to you. I thank you so much, because that's why I do these, even if it just helps one person. So we're going to get into consistency in a moment, but as I said, I want to thank you if you do watch these videos on a weekly basis. I sure do love and appreciate you. Thank you. Your time is valuable, and you're valuable too. So I'm going to try to do this quickly. But before we get started, if you're new to this channel, I want to welcome you. I have to let you know that I'm not a doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a scientist, any of those things, but I love those things. And on occasion, I may share what I learned from those things with you in the hopes that it'll help you as it's helped me too. What I am, though, is I'm a life coach. I have a web page called staceyforlife.com, and on this web page I write a monthly blog, and I invite you to check that out. But also there's a description of the services that I provide as a life coach, and it's not exclusive to those. There's fields that I particularly work in, but it's all about the desire for healing and healthy relationships, as well as development of spiritual and soul consciousness. So if you or anyone you know need help in any of those areas, please feel free to check out my webpage, staceyforlife.com. So again, we're going to get into consistency and, keeping it simple, okay? All right, so if you like that that's our topic, again, please hit the like and subscribe button below. And if you feel like it's going to help somebody, please share it. Okay, we're going to open this up with a quote that I had posted on Facebook a few days ago that dealt with this topic of consistency. I've got a few quotes included in this video, but some people felt that it was helpful, my perspective on that, so I wanted to share that. And the topic today, I want to thank Jennifer D. for asking me to cover this topic. And if you too have a topic you would like me to cover, you can always reach out to me at staceyreneeforlife@gmail.com or Stacey Reineck, simply just Stacey Reineck@gmail.com. Okay, so thank you, Jennifer D. I just love you and appreciate you for always being on the mark with these topics, because it seems to help other people too. So thank you, because that's what we do. Okay, the one thing you learn is when you can step out of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable, you see what you're made of and who you are. This is a quote by Sue Bird. Stepping out of our comfort zone. So then my thought on that, my perspective was, this consistency is something done constantly. It's like a habit. We start with a habit. Consistency, taking the first brave step and then extending and expanding to another and another. With each step, you go further and further. Most give up if the reward isn't given right away, or no one's watching or given praise. The winners and achievers keep doing it anyway, remembering that the intention is what propels us, not the attention or instant gratification. So that was my thoughts on this the other day. So I hope that it's able to help you in a way too. Okay, so let's get into the topic. When we talk about consistency, we're talking about consistency with parent and child relationships, boss and co-worker relationships, team responsibilities, routine, romance somewhat. It's consistency. Because what consistency creates is integrity. And we always look to people with integrity when we look for finding solutions and solving problems. So what is consistency? Consistency is conformity in the application of something, typically that when it's necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, or fairness. Consistency is a quality, is what consistency is. There are many different ways that we practice consistency, okay? Now, I have been talking about in previous videos about building our muscles, whether it be muscles of, our courage muscles or strength muscles or muscles of, self-esteem, any kind of muscles, anytime we're building. So consistency oftentimes applies in workouts. It applies in our education field. It applies in many different fields. So it's about building the muscle, whether it's a metaphorical muscle or whether it's the actual body muscle, mind, body, and soul, those muscles. So when we're doing that, we must be toning. And believe it or not, it all goes together. I'm taking a dance class now, and, the first class really hurt me. It kicked my butt. And I was very sore the next day. So then I went back again for the next class. It's consistency. And I'll go back again and again and again. And it's going to build that muscle because, at my age, we tend to lose muscle tone. So we have to work harder to keep muscle tone. And, some people don't care if they have muscle tone, and that's okay. But I do. I want to stay strong because I believe that I'm not only strengthening myself physically, I believe that I'm strengthening myself mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and financially by doing things that I didn't think I could do, and remembering, training my body. And it's cool that in this dance that I'm taking, I get to work on both sides of my body like I did in the martial arts, as I work the left side and the right side, which helps us work the left and right side of our brain. But I have to consistently do that or I forget it, because even it's a little bit of a struggle, even though I've done it before, it's not as bad as it would be had I not done it at all, to remember how to use both sides of my body. So it's about that expansion that I'm talking about. So consistency is where we put our energy. Oftentimes when I've had a bad habit I needed to break, I had to develop a good habit. When I quit smoking 30 years ago, what I did was I started smelling my hands all the time because they smelled like smoke before I quit smoking. So when I've had hand lotions, I started burning candles in my house, and things like this. So it was about the smells, because then I became sensitive to smell, and that worked for me. I haven't smoked in 30 years, so I exchanged a bad habit for a good habit, and so oftentimes that's what we need to do when we are trying to, regroup our energy, when we're trying to redirect our energy, is we have to pick a good habit over a bad habit. We have to find something else to do, because boredom is what keeps us going back to the same routine and bad habits. So, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I just can't get bored. So consistency, is about doing stuff regardless of, if we get the instant gratification. Oftentimes people will work out, sorry, I kicked the stand. Oftentimes people will work out for a week or two and then think, well, I'm not getting the results, I'm actually gaining weight. And that's, if you're working out physically, you're going to gain weight, because muscle weighs more than fat does. You have to look more at the inches than the actual weight. So it's about being informed, also, because when we're trying to create, we have to find out information about what we are trying to create. Because if we just go on what we think we know, then oftentimes we set ourselves up for sabotage. I don't want to say failure, because we are going to fail. Failure is inevitable, but we set ourselves up for sabotage when we don't get right and clear information. So that's one thing, about when we want to create, we need to learn everything that we can about the subject, And sometimes we have to learn it little by little by little. I do that with these videos. Like, for example, I bring you these videos on a weekly basis. There are some weeks when I feel like not as many people are watching, that, I'm not really doing it, the desired effect that I'm trying to do, that I'm trying to help create a better place and space in this world, that just by, doing these little things, that we have so much coming at us that is negative, and while I acknowledge that there is negative, and I have us look at the negative, I have us also be able to see the other side too, so that we are able to be more expanded. That's the goal of these videos, is to bring you valuable, down-to-earth, soul-felt information that you can relate to and understand and apply to your own life. Oftentimes we look at TV lives and we feel like we're falling short. So those TV lives are great for giving us goal setting, but sometimes we have to be in our own lives to do that. Not sometimes, all the time we have to be in our own lives to do that. So in so many ways we set ourselves up, and we want to give up. We give up, and we feel like it doesn't even matter what we do. But when I feel like giving up myself, I'll say, well, I don't feel like anybody's watching these videos. I may think in my head, I may be like, I don't know if, because it takes a lot of work to prepare these videos and stuff. And so I may feel like no one's watching, then I do a video, and as I'm praying, do I continue to do videos or not do videos? And then I'll get 1 or 2 more subscribers. So it's the energy, of sometimes I feel defeated too. Sometimes we feel defeated. But it's that tenacity to keep going. So that brings us to another quote. This quote is by Amelia Earhart. We all know who she is. A really powerful lady. And she says, the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. So we make this decision over and over again. Again, that was Amelia Earhart. And she said the most difficult thing is the decision to act. We put it off, right? Oftentimes we put it off. This isn't right. That isn't right. We put it off. But once we act, the rest is merely tenacity. And that means it's something that we do constantly. We keep doing it, even if we don't feel good. And what that usually does, I know for me, that develops a new habit. And if I don't do it, then I kind of feel bad if I don't do it. But if it's a good habit, then why wouldn't I keep doing it? And the cool thing is that the tenacity is that we keep learning. I still don't know everything I need to know about doing these videos. I tell y'all, I don't follow algorithms, and some people do. That way you get more viewers, and then you can get, supported monetarily and things like that. But really, when I talked about intention at first, when it comes down to it, when we don't get the audience, when we don't get the praise, when we don't get the encouragement, but I do get encouragement, because sometimes I feel like giving up like everybody else, and I have felt that in different areas of my life, but it's that tenacity, the not giving up when you want to give up, so that is what we continue to do to develop consistency. Because look what Amelia Earhart did when she, all these people that we admire, these things can happen for us too. It's just having that tenacity. They wouldn't tell us these things if it couldn't happen for us too. They want to inspire us. So when what you say and what you do consistently align, with you, you find value. You're going to find value for yourself, value for others in your alignment, So remember, what you say and what you do consistently measures up to you to find value. Value for yourself and value for others, so that you are in alignment. Because consistency requires commitment. Sometimes accountability. So it's good to find somebody who's going to continue to encourage you. Not necessarily push you, not guilt you, but to continue to encourage you. That you're going a little further. Maybe you're doing one more thing today than you did yesterday. Whether it be a push-up, whether it be an extra assignment. Because consistency develops that integrity in all areas of our lives. And once we develop integrity, everything we do is done with that. So it's about that responsibility for our actions, that we care about showing others we can be reliable. So that we get results. Because we're not going to get results if we're not reliable, right? So in consistency, what we do is we find people that we admire and look up to. And I do that, I watch videos myself. That's how I know how important and how, we can develop and practice and develop and continue to grow and continue to learn more. So when I was looking for ways that we can stay consistent, and like I say, keeping it simple, I went to Marie Forleo. If y'all don't follow her on YouTube, I recommend that you do, because many people who have taught me, Sunny Lenarduzzi, who when I first started doing videos, who taught me so much, she recommended Marie Forleo, and then I looked to Marie Forleo to give me valuable down-to-earth soul-felt information that I can relate to and understand. So I'm going to read off 5 of her simple things to help you with your, to continue to stay consistent in achieving your goals, whether it be personal, career, love, education, financial, or exercise, however you're doing it. The first thing she suggests, again, this is Marie Forleo, is keep your eye on your why. Staying committed, just like we just talked about. Keep your eye on your why. And also, number 2, when you keep your eye on your why, you stay focused. If you're dieting, put a picture of yourself the way you look, that you prefer to look, that is within reason on your refrigerator. Now, if you're 15 and you're 55, that might not be within reason. So, try to make it reasonable to where you don't defeat yourself and give up. Or if you're working on, you can't be at your why at the beginning. This is another reason why people give up, is you have to understand the practice and development, so that when you get to where you want to be or where you could possibly be, that you don't even know. Because when we set an intention, sometimes it, hopefully it will grow. So you may end up going further than you even think about, once you get started. But it's just first off getting started. So you stay committed each and every day on, keeping your eye on your why. Okay, so the number 2, she said, is pick your battle. She didn't say battles. She made that specific, not battles, because when we have battles, it can be overwhelming. But we just do one little thing at a time, like I just suggested a while ago. And then 3, she says to schedule it. She said the late Stephen Covey, see, because she has people she looks up to too, because we all just pass that along. That's what we do. She said Stephen Covey, the late Stephen Covey, he says, don't prioritize your schedule, schedule your priorities. So just what is it that you want to do? Build your life around what it is you want to do. So then you don't have excuses, because that's one thing that keeps us back in lack of our goals, is that we make excuses. So, start Xing out excuses one at a time and building one at a time. Trading that, like I said in the beginning of the video, traded one for the other. So 4 says ignore your feelings. Now, I'm a life coach, and so usually I'm not going to tell you to ignore your feelings, but when your feelings are that inner dialogue that tells you can't, or that it's useless, or those things, or that you don't feel like it, she says, and I say, there's sometimes we don't feel like it. I told you, sometimes I feel more defeated. We all feel defeated sometimes, but we just have that tenacity, like Amelia Earhart said, to where we continue to go even when we feel defeated. So we ignore those feelings when we keep our eye on the why. When we schedule it and build our life around it, we have to ignore our feelings if that's really what we feel like our purpose is, because all of us have this intention. Intention goes along with our purpose. So being clear on our intention and that's why it's important to find somebody who inspires you, because like Marie Forleo, Stephen Covey inspired her. And she inspires me, and so forth and so on. That's humanity, right? So then 5. The last one, because we're keeping it simple. We're going to stay with 5. I'm not giving you 10, 15, 20. We're going to keep it simple. 5. One hand. Catch that wagon. She says that if you fall off the wagon, don't beat yourself up. Just run and catch up to that wagon again. Say so you miss one day, you figure out a way, find the solution to catch that wagon. So that you can achieve what it is you want to achieve and not give up, is, if anything, in all the things that you have accomplished, and you have accomplished some things in your life. I have accomplished things in my life. I have to remember when I feel like giving up, that I've accomplished other things and that it wasn't always easy and that I continue to go. I'm one person that, if you know me, people know that when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I don't do it right away because there's practice and development. So when I say I'm going to do something, it doesn't mean because a month later you don't see it done. It just means that it takes time. I had to learn something myself, that even when moving, to Mexico, that's a big thing to move to a different country. A lot of people don't want to do that, but I did. And so it took me 2 years to be able to do that, because it's about practice and development. Finding out that information, like I said in the beginning, is that I can't just say I'm going to do this. You can't just build a house. Those are instances. You can't just build a house and seeds are sown, and they don't sprout up the next day. So these are things to remember, and while we hear that and stuff, we don't take it into our soul and see how it can apply to us, but it can apply to you too. So one of the last things that I want to let you know when we're talking about our soul is, whoever you consider your source to be, that your source doesn't give up on you, and you don't need to give up on yourself either. So remember that. Your source is not going to give up on you, and you don't need to give up on yourself either. So when it feels like you want to give up, just like I do, talk to your source, whoever that may be, and say, I feel like giving up. I feel like being defeated. I feel like I'm defeated. I feel like this isn't happening. Because while we said ignore your feelings, I believe it was on the 4th step, is that if we seek a higher source, we remember that that source does not want us to give up. So I'm telling you, I don't want you to give up, and your source doesn't want you to give up, so don't give up. Stay consistent. You've had battles before that you've won. You've had the battle. It's not the battle, but you start with one battle and then go to the next. Because life on life's terms is like that. It's not always direct. So I encourage you, find somebody else to encourage you to stay accountable to, and know that there's many of us rooting for you, even though it doesn't seem like it. Find your tribe, okay? All right. Thank you so much. I hope that this video has been helpful. And again, if you want to check out my webpage, it's staceyforlife.com. And yeah, if you see this video, I'll give you a free session. I'm not saying that we can solve all your problems in a free session, but we can certainly simplify things, just like this video is intended. So, all right, please reach out to me at staceyrenee@gmail.com or staceyreneeforlife@gmail.com. Either of those. Preferably Stacey Renee for Life, but it's kind of new. If you want to, contribute to this channel, to raising the vibe of this universe, since, like I said, I'm not monetized, so every little bit helps along the way. And I'm ever so grateful for however you lift this vibe. If you pray for me, I'm happy about that. If you share the videos, if you like and subscribe, those are all ways that support this channel and support this vibe. And this vibe is an algorithm. And so while I don't understand and maybe don't place my words and titles as algorithms, I place my intention into this universe of the helping and healing, so that we all feel united and less divided in these crazy times. Okay? All right. So I wish you much love and peace, and I look forward to connecting with you next week. Thank you.